طيب بسم الله تفضل.
The questions from last night. Someone told this person that the Prophet wanted to commit suicide, and this was recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari. This sounds strange to me, so I want to know.
Question says, someone has said that the Prophet ﷺ wanted to commit suicide, and it's in Sahih al-Bukhari. It sounds strange to me, so I want to know. Question is, several ways of answering the question. However, since information was brought in the question, we would advise you to go back to Sahih al-Bukhari, read it, look through it, skim through it, the index, the chapters, the book of Maghazi, the Prophet ﷺ's expeditions, and see if you can find it yourself. If you find it in Sahih al-Bukhari, see the context of the hadith. Who said it? How? Is that the actual wording in Arabic? Did the Prophet want to commit suicide? Or was he sad and grief-stricken at the death of this one and the death of that one? Once you do that, that's if you find it inside of Bukhari. We're not going to say. That's if you find it inside of Bukhari. It'll make things much easier for you, for yourself, and for the question that you want to ask. And if you don't find it inside of Bukhari, then that's even better for you. Why? Is it strange? Is it possible for the Prophet to want to commit suicide? Would the Prophet be that grief-stricken? And just because inside al-Bukhari, what does that mean and necessitate? Wallahu alam. Tafadal.
If you're local and the 24-hour is up for your socks, and you start traveling after that 24 hours, does it count as 3 days? Or do you have to
If you're a resident and the 24-hour time period expires, the day and the night is over, you can no longer wipe over your socks, leather or whatever they may be. Then you start traveling. Does the 72-hour time period begin? We say no. You cannot wipe over your socks, your leather socks or whatever type of material unless you have made a correct, valid wudu and then placed on the socks. You made a correct and valid purification, whether it's wudu or ghusl, with the intention, not a ghusl for Friday, Jum'ah, but a ghusl in which you had the niyyah of removing hadith. Of removing what? Hadith. In other words, in the ghusl, you had the niyyah of not just cleaning yourself, freshening up, but I'm making a ghusl with the intention of what? Removing hadith. I used the bathroom, then I washed up. I passed wind, then I was asleep, I washed up, I ate camel meat, etc. Or major hadith, intercourse, etc. Once a person makes the ghusl, and not just washing for cleanliness, as we said, with the intention is very important. Very important, very important. You make the ghusl with the intention of what? Spiritually cleaning yourself. Removing the spiritual impurity. What's meant by spiritual impurity? When you pass wind, your body is not physically what? There you go. It's not physically impure. It's you pass wind class. Your body is not physically what? Impure. But you are spiritually, ritually. When we mention the word ritual pertaining to worship, it's what? You can't make salah after you pass wind until you become? No. There you are. Spiritual, ritual, very important. This is where the confusion comes. Because I just passed wind. My body isn't dirty. I slept with my wife. My body isn't what? Dirty. The believer is never impure, the Prophet ﷺ says. Never defiled. But spiritually, ritually, you cannot make salah until you do something what? Spiritual. And that is tahara. Whether it's wudu or whether it's something that you have to make what? Ghusl for. And if you make the ghusl after having sexual intercourse or menses, included in the ghusl is wudu. The major ritual impurity was removed, so of course the minor ritual impurity was removed. Everybody understand this? So you made wudu or ghusl, and then you put on your socks. Everybody understand this? Then you put on your what? You put on your socks. That's another issue. When does the time period begin? When you first put them on? First time you wipe? First time you break your wudu with the socks on? Or the number of salah? What's important is your time period expired when you were a resident. So you can't travel and start 72 hours because it's broken. Take off the socks, make a wudu or ghusl with your body on your bare feet, put your socks back on, then you start traveling, then it what? Begins on however you start the clock. The time, the wiping, etc. Everybody clear? Answer clear? Wallahu alam. Tfaddal.
This is from Brother Nuruddin from UK. Salam. The rest of the brothers here. From Birmingham, UK. Nuruddin. Does the hadith about touching your private parts and it breaking your wudu restricted to touching intentionally with desires? Or do we feel it is general? Do you feel it's general and the hadith about your private parts being a part of your body can't be used to restrict the other?
طيب. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. حياكم الله وإياكم. Brother Nuruddin, may Allah bless you, akhi, increase you in beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Ameen. Keep you and your family safe. And we send our salams to you and to all of your friends and companions, family members in the UK in general, and in Birmingham specifically. We give you the greetings of Al-Islam, the salutations of Islamic Brotherhood from Jamaica, Queens to the city of Birmingham. As far as the question, then there are several issues mentioned in the question. The first is the meaning of the hadith of touching one's private area. Not one, but the hadith specifically mentions a man touching his penis. It doesn't mention a woman, a man touching his genitals. Is it general if you touch it by accident? Or do you have to touch it with the intention of touching your private part? Touching it with lust, so on and so forth? Everybody understand this? And also, another issue intertwined in that is the other madhab, based off of the other hadith, in which the Prophet ﷺ is quoted to have said, إِنَّمَا هُوَ بُضْعَةٌ مِنْكَ. He says it's only a part of you. In other words, touching your arm, touching your feet, touching your penis is what? All the same. That's a whole different area, a whole different hadith first and foremost, and a whole different issue of those ulama who hold the view for a man to touch his penis does not break his what? Wudu. First view. Second view, if a man touches his penis, it only breaks his wudu if he touches it with desire. Because it's only a aywa. It's only a what? Aywa. Touch my hand, touch my face, touch my nose. It's a part of you. I don't touch my hand with everybody understand? With a what? Everybody understand this? That's another view. Everybody clear on this or not? We sure. Number 3, when a man touches his penis in a means of lust, or someone else touches him, his wife, okay, and seminal fluid or whatever comes out. That's another concept. So there's many different concepts in this question. Everybody understand this? As far as the first hadith, or the first question, then we say, Busra bin Safwan radiallahu anha, she narrated, and the Musnad of Imam Ahmad and the people of Sunan, a well-known, famous hadith, which many of the great ulama of the past declared to be sahih, that the Prophet ﷺ said, any man who touches his penis should make wudu. And another narration states, إِذَا أَفْطَى أَحَدُكُمْ, when one of you goes and grabs his penis. And that narration has more detail, whereas a person touching it specifically and not touching it by accident. Everybody understand this? Let alone desire. Everybody clear on this? And in that concept, based off of that hadith and other hadiths as well, not just her hadith, it's just like wiping over the khuffayn, touching it with your palm, backhand side, right hand side, finger, all of those different details are included in that what? As well. And as it states in some variations of that hadith about ha'il, without any barrier or any screen. I touched my leg, I touched my private part, I had on my pants, I had on my pajamas, I had on my boxer shorts, or whatever the case may be. Not the same as me touching my actual skin. Everybody clear on this? Everybody understand this? So some of the ulama of hadith and of fiqh, they say that hadith is general. If you touch your penis by accident, on purpose, this side, that side, one finger, then your wudu is what? Broken. And others, they say, looking at the wordings of the other variations and the hikmah of the hadith, that it's only broken by touching it what? Intention. Lustful or not. Lustful or not. But the intention grabbing of one's penis. And the person not being held accountable for that which is done out of accident or mistake and a general concept. Everybody clear on this? Right, moving forward to the second hadith, the hadith of Talq ibn Ali radiyallahu ta'ala an yani, which is also collected by some of the people of the Sunan. We say what? Some of them say that hadith proves that it's not mandatory to make wudu after touching your penis. It's not mandatory. But it's something that's preferable. We have two hadiths. We generally consider both of them to be sahih. They're both authentic in general. Instead of canceling one, why not work with both of them? Make wudu when you touch your penis because it's recommended. And if you don't wish to make wudu, then it's only a part of you. Everybody understand this? Or with the lustful intention. Or with the seminal fluid. Everybody understand this? Everybody clear on this? So some ulama hold the view, if you touch it by accident on purpose, it does not. Period. Everybody understand this? And others, they say, with the lustful intention. Some say that the hadith about touching it is stronger, more narrations, more variations. And they say that it also came after that hadith. And they say that hadith pertains to when the Prophet and the companions were building the masjid in Medina. And a man came and he asked that question in the salah. He asked the question about the salah. In the salah. A man touches his private parts. However, in the salah. Is his wudu broken? He said, no, it's only a part of you. So there's long khilaf among the people of knowledge with regards to, first and foremost, both hadiths being sahih or not. Then the meanings and the extractions of the hadiths. That which is most clear and Allah knows best is that if you touch your penis, your wudu is broken. Without a screen, of course. Accident or not. Lust or not. And if a woman touches your penis, or let's say a man goes to the doctor and he has to get treatment, and the doctor touches his penis, we say that the wudu is what? Broken. And perhaps, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best, if a woman touches her vagina without any screen or barrier, some of the ulama, they say that her wudu is what also? Broken. Another issue is a baby. A woman touches a baby, cleans a baby, washes up a baby. Some of the ulama may say yes. And others they may say not necessarily, the child is young, so on and so forth. Everybody clear on this? Some years back, not only the fact that the study of these hadiths, well known in the books of fiqh, in the books of hadith, but years back in Medina, maybe it was my first year, second year of college, I bought a book on this topic, just on this topic. The book was no thinner than this. It was by one of the Tulab al-Ilm of Yemen. He wrote a book just on what? This issue, in which he collected all the different narrations, variations, and reports of these two hadiths and the different madhahib of the ulama. From the Salaf and the Khalaf, the earlier and later generations, on does it, baby, touching, backhand, touching your behind, so on and so on and so on and so forth. Everybody understand this? A man or woman takes a shower, they make wudu, they're clean, they come out, and then they want to put on lotion. Puts lotion on their private part. Is your wudu? Everybody understand this? Touching your behind. Everybody understand this? That these are all different issues. This is a summarized answer. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Sufyan.
I got a few phone calls today asking, what does Sheikh Muhammad Munir's opinion on voting? And is there any hadith to disprove and approve? What's the voting?
Question says, what is Sheikh Muhammad Mufti Munir's opinion on voting? Are the hadiths for it and against it? First and foremost, me personally, personally, I'm not saying this is the ruling, I don't vote. And I wouldn't vote. Shakhsiyan. My personal fatwa. No one say he said it's haram, he said it's halal, didn't say that. Me personally, I don't vote. I've never voted in my life. Personally, as a person. Some religious issues and reasons, and some personal, worldly, secular reasons that prevent me from voting. That's my Sheikh, Mufti, whatever name or title, myself. That's my view on it. I don't do it. Everybody understand that? As far as is it permissible or impermissible, then we or there are hadiths that support it. Then there are hadiths that talk about some aspects of voting. And there aren't any, not that I've read and I've heard of, Allahu Alam, for any of my teachers mentioned, hadiths on voting specifically. Voting is generally a modern day issue. A what? A modern day issue. Many countries to this day, let alone in the past, and the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was no such thing as voting. Leadership was based off of not necessarily lineage, unless there was a revolt and they removed that royal family. But it wasn't what? Democratic.
Democratic.
It wasn't democratic. It wasn't based off of democracy, quote unquote. Monarchy or whatever, however the case may be. Force, etc. Everybody understand this? So it's relatively a what? A new issue. Shura, taking people's views, but the concept of the people, for the people, by the people, voting, Democrat, Republic, elephant, donkey, horse, whatever, etc. That's what? Bloods and Crips. Allahu Akbar. Allah's the greatest. No doubt. Everybody understand this? It's relatively a what? Modern day issue. However, there are plenty of hadiths on many issues of voting, such as hadiths on seeking leadership. Hadiths on what? Seeking and desiring and standing up for leadership. Make me the leader. There are plenty of hadiths on lying. There are plenty of hadiths on tazkiyah, praising yourself, giving yourself a pat on the back, tooting your own horn. I'm this and I'm that. I have, I will, and so on. Now, there are hadith on falsehood, on false testimonies. Amana, and the list goes on. And there are also other hadiths on the virtue of a just leader. The virtue of a what? Of being a just leader. The reward of being a what? A just leader. The virtue of establishing, the virtue of looking after the people, the poor, the weak, etc. What? Etc. So the modern day ulama and the modern day fuqaha, some of them, they say voting is totally haram. And they say voting includes so many. Many of the ulama of today, they say voting is haram. Period. Period. America, east, west, north, south. Because it's all the same. They say voting is haram. And it entails things that are major sins. We've mentioned a few of them, such as kadhib. And other things which maybe not major sins but are prohibited. Or the general concept of the batil being dominant based off of majority. Khair inshallah. And there are walillah alhamd, ulama and mashayikh and talabat al-ilm who wrote books on this issue as well. I have a thick book on it as well, just on voting. And other ulama, they may say that it's permissible to vote. And the reason why it's permissible or recommended or maybe mandatory is because there's nothing that goes what? Directly. And some ulama, they may say it's permissible to vote depending on the circumstance. We have two leaders. One is clearly, obviously evil. One is a good guy, inshallah, or less evil. He's less of a tyrant, less of an oppressor. He's more sympathetic towards the Muslims, more understanding of the Muslims. He's not as an iron vice against the Muslims. The Muslims are living as a minority or a majority. Pay close attention. A minority or a majority. There are places in which the Muslims are the majority, and there's voting. It's not just about America. You can't fall into these errors. The Muslims are the majority. The Christians, the Jews are the vast. And there is voting. Everybody understand this? So they say the lesser of the two harms, without a doubt, this tyrannical oppressor, he's going to ban this. He's going to make this difficult. He's going to oppress the ulama, kill the students of knowledge, burn the libraries. He's going to wage war against Islam. And if the Muslims, who are in thousands, if not millions, sit back, say, and do nothing to prevent it, that's a huge problem. And no one can get mad and upset when the hijab is banned, when the beard is banned, when you can't do this, you can't do that. Everybody understand this? They take this view. And others, they may say, voting may be permissible or recommended or wajib if the Muslims are living as the minority in Western foreign countries in which they don't have no one to stick up and stand up for their rights. No one to stand up for their rights, not stick up, to stand up for their rights and look after their rights. Everybody clear on this? And the reason why there's the khilaf on this issue is because it could go right and it could go left. From one aspect, someone says, avoid these problems. Political problems. They're all liars. They're all cheats. They promise nothing's going to change. Their purpose is this and is that. Taghut, the kufr laws, no doubt. And then from another aspect, one may say, well, what is your solution? Say nothing? Muslims are a large number, huge population of Muslims in America, in Canada, and UK. Have babies, married, this, that, shops, businesses, colleges, so on and so forth. They say, I'm not saying this, they say that it's impossible for the Muslims to be of this large multitude and not have any type of activism or dealings with politics in the country in which they live and which most of them are going to die. Eid, Salah, pork, halal meat, polygamy, Hajj, Umrah, the beard, and the list goes on. And that's their point of view. And they have ways, proofs and evidences of looking at that as well. Of standing up for the haqq. Their hadith about not searching for leadership. And their hadith about the just leader. And their hadith about seeing wrong and changing the wrong. Aywa. And if you just sit in your house and pray, you can't get upset when the oppressor runs amok and changes and makes policy. So these are the different views of some of the ulama and some of the fuqaha of today. The ulama and the fuqaha of today with regards to what? Voting. Some say right, some say left. And these are the reasons why. Some of the reasons in brief. Me personally, I don't vote. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. We will suffice ourselves with this. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.